everyone. I'm Steve Peterson.
And I am Jack Hinkle.
Welcome
We're
to
talking slow and down and low today.
Chops podcast because I listened to an episode and I was like, I had to change some things. We're teaching the trifecta. Know your students, know your content, know your teaching.
Are we talking like this the whole time?
No, but
Okay, good. I can't do that.
what's going on, Jack?
Are you growing out a beard? What's going on here? Okay, he's sighing. Was I not supposed to say that out loud?
No,
Is
that's
that like the
fine.
elephant in the room?
Well, it's
Post-marching season beard?
No, it's not like an elephant in the room. It's obvious, right?
Well, our
That's
listeners
what an
can't see
elephant.
you, so.
Okay, that's what elephant in the. Let's find something different.
No Shave November. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really grow a beard, so we'll see what happens.
You grew a mustache that one time.
That was gross. I can grow a goatee.
There you go.
Maybe new glasses and a goatee.
New glasses. Look at you.
Harry Potter glasses.
Ooh, you could pull those off like the Wire.
Yeah.
Circular.
Or no, like tortoise. Okay.
Yeah, you could do that. No, I don't know. What is anything going on?
No.
What's going on?
It's
No,
I
no.
don't know.
It's gross outside.
It's not even 4 o'clock, and it's like you have to drive with your lights on. This
Yeah.
daylight burn up time
Daylight
stinks.
burn up time. Yeah, I told the kids today as they walked into the lobby, I'm like, today's a good day to not do marching band. Oh my god.
Gosh, it's
Gross.
horrible outside.
Yeah, but you know what it looks outside? It's like the sky is crying.
Sky is crying. It's November, and we have this week, and then we have 2 days next week.
And then Thanksgiving, and we got a jazz concert this week.
Oh, I knew we had something.
Well, yeah, I'd say we should advertise on this episode, but it won't come out until after it's done.
No,
So
why
hopefully
not?
the jazz
We have-
concert went well.
We
That
have a
was good.
jazz concert on Wednesday.
I heard we won. Heard we won the contest.
Oh, finally.
Thank gosh,
been
we
a
get to
while
play the
since
night
I-
show.
It's been a while since one of the Concord bands. I just saw one of the night show. Okay. There is a band that, okay, we used to go on retreat, right?
Jazz retreat.
Jazz retreat.
Yeah, at
There-
Camp
Manitou.
Manitou. Camp Manitou, where I tubed into a lake with your sons.
With my son when he was a little kid. And you had Jack had
With
his
my-
varsity leather jacket on. You just got it for Christmas, and you were all worried that your mom was going to get mad.
She did.
Yep. It was like
Covered
this
in
what
mud.
wooded campground with all these cabins and stuff,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we had a nice amount of snow.
And
We
it
were-
was like the wet snow. That
Yeah.
The more you keep sliding down it, the more it turns to ice. So like the first few kids were like, "Yeah, it's kind of fine," and then like the path kept getting paved, and I went down, and I'm like, "Oh no, this ain't stopping. This ain't stop."
No.
That
Then
was
it-
some like the
and it
most
went-
cold
and
I've
it
ever
went
been.
towards the lake. Yeah.
I went in the lake. Michael,
Mi-
you're going into Jack. You're going into a lake.
It's telling me to
It's
go
my
this
tube
way.
GPS. Gosh, how old was that? I thought Adam and Jacob were both there.
Well, let's see.
If that was a senior,
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, so they would have
So
been like,
Jacob would have been 9.
and Adam would have been like 11, 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
13.
13. Okay, there you go. Good times. Okay, why'd you bring up Jazz Retreat?
Because there's a jazz band that I follow that goes on a retreat, but they take all 3 jazz bands on retreat, but they take the jazz bands and they mix them up.
oh,
So
that's
it's a
fun.
random group, and then they work on tunes as a new band.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Just for that weekend?
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. That's fun.
And so kind of break down the barriers.
Okay.
It's cool.
Let's just do that for the concert. Let's just mix up the bands. They got an hour to learn a tune. You know Goshen, the city of Goshen did that? They did like a thing called Build a Band,
Mm-mm.
and you just sign up, and you sign up for whatever instrument you play, like rock band, and then they pair you in groups of like 4. So there's like a drummer, a guitarist, a bassist,
Okay.
and a vocalist, and they've got like 6 hours to write a song and perform it, and then they all perform at a concert
Oh,
that
fun.
evening.
Is that part of First Fridays?
I have no idea. I just heard that
I
they're
wonder
doing
if we
that.
could get a gig at First Fridays. We could do a live podcast.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Oh, it's like set up outside the Electric Brew. That'd be fun. Okay, Goshenites, if you're listening.
There's some good teachers, good musicians around there.
Mm-hmm.
People hitting it in the
And
fine
some
arts
really
scene
good
and
food too. Be a good time.
good scene.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
Crying.
Crying. You have a mug that a student got you.
Oh, I should have brought that.
What does it say?
Student tears. It's a coffee mug, and it says student tears, parentheses, still warm. And so this was given to me by a senior girl last year, but it would normally be like a teacher giving it to a teacher, right?
Yeah, a little more of the dark humor.
Yeah.
Like from the teacher.
But this was from a girl, a senior, that gave it to me who cried quite a bit in my presence, like in class. And she gave this to me. It said student tears, parentheses, still warm.
So obviously she felt okay enough about it.
Yes.
To give it to you and had some self-awareness.
I think she felt like responsible for the tears that would have filled that glass. My cup overfloweth, if you know what I mean.
My cup overfloweth. Okay, so we want to talk about crying because if you're not around the school thing, I would say I see student tears at least every other day.
Yep.
If not more, every day. And they're not always bad, and they're not always like an emergency. And they can range.
What do you mean not bad? Aren't the tears always bad unless you just won $1 billion?
There are
then
people that listen to this podcast that would say that crying is a good release of emotion. But
yeah, I had a friend that she said she had the gift of tears.
The gift of tears.
Actually, I told that student that gave me the mug, I said, you have the gift of tears. But maybe I was just being nice. I don't know.
I say they're not bad because sometimes I've had students that are crying and then they just start laughing because they know it's kind of silly that they're crying. I don't know if you've seen that before. That they kind of know it's
the
just
laugh
like,
cry, yeah.
Like some students tears flow easily than others, right?
Yeah.
And then they kind of know when it's like too much and they're trying to stop but they're laughing, and then it kind of becomes one of those things. But then there are tears that are real, and they can be because of things that are happening in school, things that are happening outside of school, wherever. And I think it's an important thing to talk about, not just for teachers, but for everybody, because it's a puzzle, right? And as Ken Snook would say, it's an opportunity in work clothes. When a student cries, first of all, what do you do? Second of all, how do you still teach? Because you can't still teach if a kid's crying.
Evidently, we can still teach.
And I don't mean that as like, we're just pushing past the tears and we're going here. We're just going to, I don't mean it like that. But I'm sure there are some teachers that do that. But you can, typically if there are tears, you can create a teachable moment out of whatever's happening. Most of the time. Maybe not all the time. Right?
Yeah.
So let us walk through a day. Okay, Steve, I'm teeing you up here. Okay, so you got to concentrate, Steve. Okay, focus, buddy. Focus. Okay, so Steve, you're going through a day, and you have a student cry. Can you kind of walk us through maybe one way? Focus, buddy. Focus. You can do this. One way that like that occurs, and then like different ways you've approached the tears. You got me?
Yep.
Okay, go.
Sometimes I would approach the tears, or I have approached the tears from a non sequitur, like throw in something totally random that would be like, I know, can you believe Taylor Swift has measles? Oh my gosh, or like something like outrageous. I know, it's so sad that my dog has that toenail fungus, right? Something like that.
Sorry, Oliver.
That would makes no sense, but like the oddness of it would either one make a student go what, or make a student chuckle.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Number 2 could be a hand on the shoulder saying, "Tough morning, huh? Looks like it's a tough start to the day. You're okay?" 3 could be similar posture, be like, would you like to go out in the hallway? Would you like to go to the restroom for a few minutes and just come in a few minutes late? Would that be helpful? 4 might be, what do you need?
So you do a variety of things, and you probably tailor it to the kid.
Yes,
based
and
on
tailor it on the room.
Yeah, that too. That too.
And depending if they know the students in that room well, if they're comfortable, or sometimes maybe ignore
Okay.
intentionally,
Sure.
just to kind of let it settle. Not because I think sometimes any attention, a lot of times attention could be like an accelerant.
Yeah.
And so sometimes maybe just kind of pulling away,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a class maybe that's not as comfortable with each other, just kind of let that settle down.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That sounds about right.
You think of anything else that you've done or that you would do?
No, that you kind of hit them all. I most of the time I go for the laugh right away.
Yeah.
I go for the laugh. And that's usually that I've kind of felt like it's hard to talk to I don't feel like my words are getting through unless there's a laugh.
Yeah.
And some kids, it's hard because they want to feel the emotions, and if you try and get them to laugh, I think they can get upset because they're like,
they have to deviate
don't
from
take
that.
me out of this.
Yes,
Like, let me sit with
let
this.
me sit in it.
And I want to say, like, yeah, that's helpful that's like real for you, but like we got to go. And there are some days where you do got to go. There are some days you can take time and let them kind of feel it out, but some days you got to go. So what are some reasons that students have welled up in your classes?
Well, okay. Well, I think the one would be students not feeling well physically.
Yes, I've seen that one too.
Just don't feel good, which affects their emotional behavior.
Yes.
Number 2, relationship status change. Okay? Now, that could be that could be boyfriend girlfriend, that could be best friend drama. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That certainly comes in. It could be I've had a number of students saying, "Yeah, I'm in a fight with my parents."
Yep.
I'm arguing with my parents. Not nearly enough students need to be upset about this one, but about academic turmoil, or academic failure.
Right. You wish you could spread those tears out.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
I got an F on this paper.
Why aren't you not crying in my Jazz 1 class because you didn't turn in your listening assignment? Why is it when we shun you publicly in my class, you don't cry?
I feel like this is a targeted statement right now for one of your kids.
It's a number of kids, but we've started the shun process.
And they go, well, Mr. Peterson, you don't take points off, and my English teacher does, so I have to do that assignment first. Stop with the grade capitalism. Stop. Just because I don't penalize my kids for turning in stuff late makes them not do my stuff. What do I need? Do I need to penalize it more?
No, you need to go to the English teacher and say, "Can you stop being the cop?
Just stop doing
the
start
assignment
doing
cop.
Tariffs
Yeah,
on late
like,
work.
yeah, oh
Stop
my-
it. I'm not trading with the English class anymore.
So
I'm only doing trades with math department now. English and music are cut off.
I'm not trained with the English department.
Tariffs, great tariffs are huge.
Huge.
Big tariffs all over the place.
It's the most beautiful tariffs ever. No, we started this thing. Okay, jacket. Okay, we're going off the exit just a little bit, but with homework, we've done many an episode about homework, and by golly, teachers, if you have the secret sauce or the magic pill to help students always do their homework on time, please let us know. Please.
We've tried everything.
Okay.
I swear
we
tried
have
everything.
tried bribes, we've tried sanctions, we've tried anger, we've tried humor, we've tried
prison,
we've tried everything. So now when things are not turned in, I put their name on the board on this PowerPoint, and then I say shun list. And then we go, do you have your music? Shun! And then when they bring it, we go, unshun.
I took that today in concert band because we did our first pencil check of the day.
How'd it go?
Not good. Not good. I mean, there were probably 10 kids without pencils.
Oh, we only had one today. Well, I think I had a marker. I think I had a kid had a marker.
Do kids ever just put up their thumb for you, or like put up a mouthpiece?
and
That's like
and
the oldest trick in the book. The trumpets turn their mouthpiece upside down and hold it up. But I just went through the kids. I was like, shun,
yep,
shun,
yep.
and the Jazz 1 kids were with me.
Well,
'cause they know about it.
we
'Cause I don't do that
started
in
we
tutor.
started this thing like said that tonight I'm going to turn it in, and we go possibly unshunned as a group. We said possibly unshunned, and then they were into it because they're like, you forgot somebody's name, and so we had to shun them. But I mean, it's funny, but they still don't have their homework in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. I mean, you could pay kids and they would not do their assignments.
I'm so sick of assignments.
I am too. So, teachers, if you have the special sauce, let us
Come
know.
at me.
Come at us.
How do you cook?
How do you cook? How do you get your kids to not hate you? Wait, that
One of my students said, "With your beard, you look kind of gangster." And I go, "Gangster?"
You're like, really? In my sweater vest?
Yeah, and I was like, "Mr. Fleece with a lavender plaid shirt on." And she goes, "Yeah, you kind of got like a Walter White vibe." And I'm like, Walter White is not a gangster." That's the name of the episode. That Walter White is not a gangster. He is a public servant.
A public school teacher that
He's
happens
trying
to have a drug problem.
Well, he doesn't.
It's really
have
a money problem.
He just wanted to be challenged, and so he. Okay, so I'm a gangster apparently. Walter White,
a gangster. Okay, we gotta get back to tears
tears
because I'm about to get there myself.
Okay, so
homework turmoil is why they come in tears.
yes.
Okay,
And
other reasons they come in with tears. Really, really weird stuff, like random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't have chicken today at lunch. Not a kid never said that to me, but like that level of like absurdity that you're like, that's what made you cry today? That's the hill you're dying on?
Yeah.
Okay. So no, I've seen similar things. I have. And then there are like the in-class issues. Like you biffed your performance on something in front of people. You showed up late and you're worried about getting a tardy. You forgot to turn in your auditions and you have to play them live. Your stress level is just at the 99%, and you not bringing your pencil took you that 1% over.
Yeah, well, and they're tired. They're tired.
They're tired. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But like they're just
It can be anything.
right.
So I'm trying to go through moments this year of student tears and things I did.
Do you ever cause the tears?
Yes.
Ooh.
You?
Never.
You liar. Are you for real?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I think
you can't leave me alone out here for this one. I've definitely made
I'm not
kids
trying
cry.
to make kids cry. I think we probably both made kids cry when I thought it was funny. And I'm like, everybody's laughing. I look over and the kid's like, and I'm like,
uh-oh.
Back it
Flow
up.
chart. If kid cries after
I was
joke I
like,
made, gosh.
call parent immediately. Hey, sorry, your kid is crying.
Cotton-headed Ninny Muggins, and apparently today was not the day to do that. I'm sorry.
Yes, I've been called out on that. I've been told by parents sometimes it just doesn't hit. It hits hard. It hits wrong. You were trying to be funny, but it just hit wrong. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Checkity check.
Check. No response from me.
Okay. No, I'm sure most teachers have made kids cry. Usually not on purpose.
No.
Okay, hot take. Maybe this isn't a hot take, but I think you'll agree with me on this. For the times I've made kids cry, not due to like making fun of them,
Okay.
but being blunt in my teaching, I rarely feel bad about it.
When you're being blunt, you're being honest with
direct,
your response,
yeah. Honest
and then
and
they
direct, really not
cry.
blunt.
You don't cry about that.
No,
You don't worry about that.
I think that's good life training.
I do too.
I think now's the time to get the tears out when you're in school.
Right.
Right? Like if you're sitting in a band and you have a solo and you play it, it was fine, but your director says, well, you did this, but this wasn't great and this wasn't great. Work on this. And maybe you're at a high stress level. Like maybe you're at that 95% and that was enough 5% to take you over and you cry. One, I understand why you would cry in that situation. But two, I am not doing my job if I don't teach you. Three, if you feel strong enough about that you shed some tears, I think that's kind of good. That means you care, right?
Yeah.
And that's something Scott Spradling would talk a lot. Like if you're upset, it means you care, and that's a good thing. But there's going to be a day where those kids have a full-time job and they have to do something for it, and maybe they didn't do it on time, maybe they didn't do it well, and their boss comes into their office and kind of reams them. And I imagine a boss would ream a employee in a lot harsher of a way than a teacher would ream a student. Because we don't ream kids.
No.
Even when we're teaching in that way,
No.
we don't ream them. And if you understand what it feels like to have somebody in authority be direct with you, and you can take that, that is such a valuable skill that you can take into your life. And if you cry about it in high school, fine, get that out of the way. Now you know what it feels like when it happens later in life, and the next time it won't be as bad, right? And I mean, yeah, there have been moments, I'm sure for both of us, in our professional lives where we have felt like we wanted to cry, or maybe we have.
Gosh.
And that's not something that magically goes away when you get older, right?
Right.
You just get better at handling and understanding your emotions. Right. And that's why we're in school right now. Like that's the skill that we're teaching these kids is working through tough emotions.
Right. I remember a girl, this was 25 years ago. I can remember being up in the lobby working on a woodwind sectional and something in concert band. We were going down the line and everybody was taking a test on it or something. And this girl clearly could not play it. But she was third or fourth chair. She was up there and she took private lessons. She was a good student, and she was younger and she was having a hard time. And I just stayed with her and I was like, no. And I didn't let her off the hook.
Yeah.
And she was bawling, and then she kind of got mad, and afterwards she was like, you knew I couldn't play it, but you still made me play it. I'm like,
exactly.
That was the assignment. Isn't there something to that, though?
Right, because if you let them go just because they have tears.
And then you bring out the tears, then you're scot-free, and that's not how things go.
No, and that they don't learn anything from that.
Right.
But what a gift to be able to push past the tears, right?
Exactly.
And there may be a parent listening right now going, if you're teaching my student and they're in tears while you're teaching them,
back off.
Let them be and let them collect themselves. Okay, to be clear, I'm not if you want to see what's coming in, please come in the classroom. Come watch.
Yes. Yeah.
I only yell when I get excited.
Yes.
I have yelled twice in my 8 years of teaching. I know the exact 2 times.
What?
One was this year when the kids didn't open up their binders when you asked them to.
Oh,
you remember
yeah.
I got
yeah,
mad.
you
I
did.
yelled.
You did.
The other time was 4 or 5 years ago. We had a sectional with the trumpets and the mellophones under the walnut tree, and trumpets were throwing walnuts at each other. And I got mad.
Okay.
2 times.
Okay, that's good.
8 years.
That's good you can do that.
The only other times I've yelled to be heard and because I'm excited.
Okay, so working past the tears and not you can't give them a break, and obviously they do get breaks, and you can go dry your tears and get into a safe space seriously and get your composure.
Composure
But,
is the.
But I think it's okay though to try to work on something where you're still crying.
Yes.
I've had to work on things while I'm still crying. I hate to sound every day when I drive home from school. Gosh, but that's, I don't mean to sound like an old grumpy teacher, but sometimes you just have to keep going.
Because if you don't, it teaches kids that if they cry, they get what they want.
Right.
And maybe sometimes that's true.
Well,
but
and that happens in teenage relationships quite a bit.
And adult relationships, I'm sure.
Right, but where does it start?
Right.
Person A goes with person B. I'm going to break up with you. Okay, just kidding. I'm going to get back with you.
Right.
Right?
No, exactly. That's it. But obviously this is a hard line to be on one side or the other.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to walk.
It is.
And And sometimes we'll go on one side, sometimes we'll go on the other. It depends on the kid, depends on the situation. But I think it's really important to teach kids how to work through that stuff.
Yes.
And, something that you've said this year, I think in the podcast, is like,
Jimmy crack corn and I don't care.
I try and make you look smart, and you just negate everything I do. You said that these kids are experiencing big emotions for the first time. I don't know about you.
Huge.
I can remember. You just can't help yourself. I remember the first time
the
I had
biggest emotion.
Bro, let me cook.
Jack's gonna have his third time yelling in this studio.
At my boss.
I am not your boss. On these days, I am not your. Okay, sorry. I'm just your colleague. I just want to be a friend. Okay, go ahead.
You said these kids are experiencing big emotions for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember the first time I had to go, I was working as a volunteer at the Conselmer Institute, and one night I just could not sleep. Zero sleep. Not like I dozed off once, zero.
You were jacked up.
And I got up, and it was one of those things. It's like I had to wake up at 5:30, and I'd be back home at midnight. It was a long day. And I just remember I was probably 20, maybe 19 or 20.
Down.
And I melted down. I cried when I woke up because I'm like, this is going to be so hard.
Yes.
And that was the first time I did it. And then at the end of the day, honestly, I was really glad I had that experience because I was like, I could do that. And now, anytime I have a really rough night of sleep, I just think about that night. And I'm like, I can do this. It's
right.
okay. One day, I can do this. 2 or 3 in a row, I'm cooked. But one, I can do it. And, some of these kids are experiencing that the first time. A moment of tears this year was exactly that there was a student crying the morning of state finals because that student didn't get any sleep. And I saw that student, and they just had their head down like that. And I was just going to go up to him, mess with them, because I didn't know they were crying. I didn't know. And then I was like, hey, what's going on? You okay? You get some sleep? And the face came up, and it was just tears coming down. And I was like, oh, Jack, you're stupid. And then I was like, well, I'm committed now. So I sat down with the student, and they kind of talked me through what was going on. And then I was like, I kind of went in supportive mode, not crack joke mode. And I just said, just so you know, historically this night, the band gets horrible sleep. You're in the majority right now, even though it feels bad.
Right.
And you have something going for you today called adrenaline. And you could have gotten 8 hours of sleep, and you're still going to feel real wacky when you're on that field because you were just having so much adrenaline coursing through your veins that those 8 minutes that matter the most, you're going to be okay today.
Right.
I don't know if it made that student feel better, but it was something tangible, not it's okay, you're going to do better today, you'll get through it. It was no, you're going to have adrenaline today. Okay. You don't need to worry about being tired. It's going to take care of itself, I promise. So that was one moment. The other moments I think of are, is it bad if we talk about marching band already?
I had another. I was going to use an example of marching band too.
Okay, you go, buddy.
Okay, Ken Snook.
He cried?
He did cry. I've seen him cry in front of the band.
I was going to say, if he cries, I bet the band does not say anything. They just let that man go.
Right. I've seen him cry, yeah. But getting ready to go into their final performance, like Bands of America, he was very aware of the emotional state of the band, and he would not give them time to cry. When they would gather up by the line the airlocks or whatever, and he just he would conduct the transitions from one thing to another in the way the staff was interacting with the students to not give them time to cry. Don't give them time to hug each other and be oh, this is my last time. No, we're just going, right?
Yeah, I mean, that happens, right? I mean, I saw that with some of our kids at State. Before anything even happened, we're in the loading zone in that dumpster area that smells horrible, where everything's dark and it's windy.
Yes.
And the kids are like, oh my God, marching band's over. And I went up to some kids. I didn't want to be mean, but I grabbed them by the shoulders. I was like, shit, snap out of it. Come on. We still got to go to physical warm-up. You still got to go off and down and post. Snap out of it. And they're like, I'm sorry. They're laughing. They're like, I'm sorry, Mr. Rico. I'll be okay. Stop it.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say in tense rehearsals, when like things aren't going well, and there are some, or maybe there are like some kids behaving in a way that's not really appropriate for a rehearsal, and they're like older kids, and it really bums them out, and they're just like working really hard to try and manage their groups, but also be in it and locked in themselves, and they can get frustrated.
Yeah.
And throughout the years, I mean, that happens, unfortunately, kind of more common than you would think. But again, those are tears of I care, not tears of this stinks or whatever. But trying to help students manage that. And I've thought about that a lot because, recently we have seen more tears in the last couple years. And I've kind of like been introspective. I'm like, do I feel that way? Like in my normal life? Is that? And I was like, I don't think so. Or maybe I do, and it just feels kind of dulled because I'm older and I know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because I've seen these things play out before. I don't know. But
Yeah, I would say probably it's you've seen these things play out before, and so you're not as knee-jerk to them
yeah,
and don't respond as like, oh my gosh. And that's with like a degree of sincerity, knowing that it could be something really
yes,
intense,
mm-hmm.
but also it could be something that could just kind of correct itself in the next couple of minutes if given some time and
right,
solitude, right?
Yeah,
We've talked, and I've talked to students about this, like with a sense of humor, but also a sense of authenticity. But I've talked to you about this too, about like from year to year, the crying levels have been different.
it's true.
Because we interact with the same students,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them through the different theory classes and jazz band classes and marching band and concert band. So we see a lot of the same students and we share students. And so we've seen kind of like patterns
Yes,
over the last 3 years.
yes,
And then maybe it'd be students that were like really good friends with each other. There'd be like a higher collection of tears or a higher frequency of tears. And then when certain classes move on or personalities, then maybe the students that are left they're influenced by a different group. So there's like the makeup of the relationship is different, and then they're not as tearful.
And we've noticed like this year, the students seem to be a lot more successful in terms of, I shouldn't say successful. We've just seen less tears
Yes.
this year, like by a lot. And maybe that's life's better. Maybe coping skills are stronger. I mean, I don't know. But there are more smiles this year. More smiles, more easygoing.
Yeah. I think part of that is leading, or part of that is lucky,
Sure.
like who you have in your little environment.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it could be leading, like some students are working on some things.
Yep.
And learning to cope or learning to problem solve.
I would say one more year out of COVID, too.
Yep.
I think that's a big one.
And then maybe, I don't know. I don't really think like what I do is like preventing the tears. I think it's more learning. They're learning, and we're lucky.
Okay.
I don't know if we can really stop that, but if it happens.
And, it's not, I think it is, I think it's healthy for kids to experience a worthy, a trusting adult like a teacher. I think it's a good thing for them to experience a teacher working with them through tears.
Yeah.
And not being mean,
Yeah.
but being supportive, but also being productive. And if you can kind of, like as a student, if you can learn that skill to work through the emotions, and I don't mean push them aside so you can do the task at hand, but understand why you feel the way you do.
Yep.
Understand how to walk it back and then still continue with whatever task you're doing. I think that's big. A lot of kids have talked about tears this weekend because their auditions were due. Have you heard that? You heard kids talking about it? And I think part of it's like kids being funny or kids flex and be like, oh my gosh, I worked on that for 5 hours and I was bawling my eyes out and I was recording my video, something like that. And I think that is like I think that's an experience too that kids are getting through on their own. It's like these auditions we talked about last week were like, can be pretty frustrating when you miss the same note over and over again on your 40th take and you have to do it again and your emotions are high, your stress is high. But the kids are working through that on their own, which is far better than them working through it with another adult
Yeah.
because they kind of figure out what they need. And then that's another tool in their tool belt to work with when something else goes wrong that they're trying to work through. So kids, that's why the auditions are so hard, is because we want you to grow emotionally and musically.
We should do an episode on auditions, but it would be more fun if people called in. We could do like audition fails or audition stories.
You know what we have our TikTok's big enough. We can do TikTok live. I don't actually know this, but this is what the kids tell me. You have to have 1,000 followers, and then we can live stream on TikTok. So we could live stream on TikTok, ask questions, and then people.
1,000?
You have to have at least 1,000.
How many do we have?
Like 4,400.
Okay.
And you could do that, and then they could like message in questions as we talk to them, and then go through the questions. That'd be interesting. We'd have to like schedule it though. It'd be awkward if people didn't show up. That could be fun though.
Maybe we should do a Chops Christmas special, like the week before Christmas break.
Chops Christmas. What would we do?
Well, maybe just do the live studio audience.
Oh, like we did at the end of the year?
Yeah. Do like a midway break.
Midway break? During class?
Mm-hmm.
Like we did last year?
Or we could do it. We could do invitation only.
Invitation only.
We could do a Chops reception.
I like it. I am kind of worried we're gonna, now that we're not doing the E-days, are we gonna be able to do the learn thing? I've thought about that. I was like, those are fun.
Wah, wah. That's how this thing got going.
I know.
Mm.
And now it's gone. We'll make our own.
Oh, it's time to have some other guest on, isn't it? Marching bands? I don't know. Right?
Yeah, it's probably about time.
Oh, my gosh.
Marching band trauma is still real. No, we could. No, I'd be interested in the Chops reception. Dude, we should do it. Do it in the
Lobby.
That'd be sweet.
A VIP event. We could do a VIP event and then do a live call-in show. A live podcast.
That'd be sweet. I can't tell if you're joking or
No,
serious.
I'm serious. I don't want to organize it, but it sounds really cool. Right? Wouldn't that be fun?
Sounds like Michael Scott.
Well, okay, it would be like a educational. Why are these people walking around? Oh, okay, that's an adult.
Stay
Okay.
with me.
Like a educational think tank.
Okay. Yeah.
Just invite. I think you can invite students. If you had the right students, you could invite young teachers, medium experienced teacher, advanced year teachers, administrators,
Community stakeholders, political figures.
Oh,
End it with a debate.
yes, that'd be fun.
No, I think that would be really fun. I think that'd be really fun. And our best, those are like good moments for us, like because we learn stuff. I really like doing the learn thing because we had teachers live talking.
So we're not going to do that this year
I don't know.
because we could do half
have a
days.
half day. I mean, we could, but I don't know. What if we did what if we did Chops at a school convo? No thanks.
What if we just said we wanted to do learn by ourselves? We're going to have one session after school.
We host it
Yeah,
for the entire
learn.
corporation.
It's called We Learn.
We learn.
Chops Learn, right?
Chops learn.
I do think we need to have a bigger guest on here. We need somebody. I don't even care if they're like educationally sound. Like I was just thinking, like, what if we had Gordon Ramsay on here? Like from Chops. Isn't he have a show called Chopped? That's a cooking show. But somebody like that's recognizable and big, but they don't have to be an educator. It would just be kind of fun.
That Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon would be hilarious.
Jimmy Fallon.
Logan
on
Paul.
Chops.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Mike Tyson.
Right?
Yeah. No, that'd be
Or
good.
like-
Mr. Beast.
Or we have like, Mr. Bean. Wait, is Mr. Bean still alive?
He doesn't talk, right? Isn't that his whole thing?
I don't know. I just know of his shtick, like how he looks. And actually, I was thinking about Mr. Bean today.
Dr. Bean.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. We're becoming more of a band-centric podcast in our social media presence. So I feel
that
like
whole stuff about 7th grade science teachers, that was this whole shtick to get you guys to listen.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Suckers.
No, because honestly, the content of what we talk about most of the time is not band.
Right.
We're talking about crying today. I
Right.
hope that's not band-centric, or else we're bad teachers.
No, most of it is not.
No. But people that follow us do the clicks because they're in band. And those are most of the hashtags I use on the socials.
Right.
Let's get like
hashtag not band.
hashtag orchestra.
Or
choir.
Or okay, there's 4 extra chairs here. Maybe we could do a student meeting.
What
if we had freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors that we pick? 4 students that come in here and they do an episode with us.
We'd have to buy 4 more microphones. Man, that would break our budget.
I know a guy.
That's true. That could be fun. What do you wish
your teachers
your
knew
teachers
about you?
Knew? If you were a principal for, it's really just question of the day.
We
for
think.
6.
Oh, I could do that. Question of the day.
If you were a principal for the day, what would you change? Make the lunch better.
Your goatee, you criminal.
Gangster. You look like Walter White.
You look gangster. Like Walter White. Wait, Walter White lived in a ranch house. What?
Like and subscribe. Follow. Repost. Yep. Share. Bookmark. Save. I'm just doing the Dwight thing at the computer. Is that right?
That's right. No, you're fine.
Print.
No, print.
Control P. Control P. I'm just floundering on Canva.
We're okay.
Yeah, it's for real though. Like, follow us, like and subscribe, do all that stuff. I feel like I plea at the end of every episode. I'm like, please give us a rating, please give us a review. And then I check back, and it was like at 28 ratings. And then like 2 weeks later, I check back again. I'm like, 29. Really glad one person.
Wait, 29 ratings?
We've had 29 on Apple. I think we've had more on Spotify, but I don't check that one as much.
So Apple, 29.
Yeah, come on.
We've been doing this for 18 months.
I know how many listeners are on Apple. I know the exact number, and it's a lot more than 29. So will you guys get going? We're talking about homework, and clearly we're bad podcasters. Our students do not turn in their assignments. Our listeners do not do their assignments of rating and review us. So thank you for making us feel like we are about the same podcasters as we are teacher. Hashtag ineffective. For please like and subscribe. And rate and review.
That was good. Jack Hinkle, Unhinged. It's like Saw. Saw.
Yeah, because closing a podcast and Saw, same thing.
No, I think we just have to come to grips with people don't like us for the content. The educational content. They just like us for the little funnies.
Yeah, they do, because we've talked to kids and they're like, "Oh my God, I found Chops." I'm like, "Really? What episode did you listen to?" They're like, I just watched the TikToks. Like,
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You boogers. It's okay. So, you already gave us the sign out, right? For Steve Peterson
and Jack Hinkle.
We're out of here.